Hello, thank you for joining us this morning for the first of two sessions where we take a deep dive into Connect printIQ, a partnership between two parties that have been working together now for quite a few years. And we recently got together and decided we should share actually what Connect printIQ is all about. So just while we wait for some more people to join, everybody who's currently online, we ask you just to pop in the chat where you're from and what you're looking forward to today. Don't be shy. So we have Antonia. I wouldn't say it's sunny Sussex, Antonia. I'd say it's a cold Sussex. Ah, we have an Australian. Someone from Nottingham. Hello, Sam. Steve, Brisbane. Great to have you on board. Fantastic. A lot from down under on. Mauritius. Turners Hill. That's a shame.
Must be quite late in Australia, Chris.
Someone's either been out all night and decided they're going to send themselves to sleep by joining us, or I don't know. Brilliant. Bulgaria, Essex. Fantastic. I think we've got a Crawley as well. Yes, okay, brilliant. Thank you guys for jumping on straight away with some feedback from where you're coming from. We appreciate those that are staying up late and those that are getting up early to join us. We have an all-star cast today. We are very, very lucky to be joined by quite a few amazing individuals in this industry. I'm going to take you through a few of the agenda for today. So first of all, we're going to meet the team. Again, as I said, we're very lucky to have some very good technical prowess on with us. The background of Infigo and the printIQ solution as well. Have some updates from printIQ. And then we'll be joined by Alex Barrow and Paul from printIQ, who will give us a live demonstration of how the connectIQ integration works. And then we have our very special guest, Georgina from Cubiquity Media, who will be joining us to share some of the insights from a customer's point of view, who has both printIQ and Infigo. And then we'll round off with a question and answer session where you can fire any question you wish to our panel. So we'd like you to take part throughout today's session. And if you can't make this morning's session, then there's always the session this afternoon. There's reactions to what you hear through the emojis. There's also a chat box, which again, some of you have already jumped in already. And then we'll be firing up polls throughout the session as well. So please do join in, interact. And there's no such thing as a silly question. Any questions, please fire them in, and our panel will try and answer where they can. Okay, so here's your team. So I'm Chris, Head of Global Marketing here at Infigo. And I'll be guiding you through the journey today with this amazing group of individuals. We have Paul Bromley from Infigo. Alex Barrow, who's the Technical Operations Director, and also be working with Paul, going through how the actual integration works and showing some of the features that we've got to look forward to in the near future. And then we have Rob as well, who will be talking us through a little bit about the printIQ offering and be on hand to answer any questions you may or may not have. Thank you, gents, for joining us today. So before we jump into a poll, I'm just going to ask Paul Bromley, if I may, a few questions. Hi, Paul. Thanks for joining us. So you used to work at printIQ, and obviously you're now with Infigo. When you were working with printIQ and you were looking at other MIS platforms and solutions, what made IQ better than the competition, in your personal opinion?
Yeah, morning, Chris. Morning, everyone. The thing that really stood out for me was the innovation. So printIQ, as soon as you see it, it looks different. So the user interface was one of the things that when people were comparing and looking and evaluating the MIS space, that was the first thing that really hit home, was that a team could use this, they could develop it, very easy integration. And also, I think one of the things that is shared between the two companies is that desire to innovate, make things simpler, because the landscape of print is always changing, and we all have to face that. So the simplicity to allow someone without any print knowledge to have the ability to go onto the IQ platform and do something such as a quote or dispatch things was really simple. So you didn't necessarily need to have 30 years of print knowledge, which was a huge takeaway for me.
Okay, thank you, Paul. So you've got the Infigo solution and you've got the printIQ platform as well. Where did you see the value in the two of them coming together?
Yeah, I think the benefit of Infigo's storefronts and that best in class solution of how far can you push a system, that's a sticker that Infigo have definitely got in regards to the ability for automation or integration. So that's the key thing there that I saw, is that the answer always seems to be yes. So there's always a cautious yes, but yep, let's look at that, let's do that. So that's one thing that a business needs to look at nowadays, is the fact that if you buy a product today, where will that be in 5, 6, 7 years? Because your business won't stand still for 5, 6, or 7 years. So that platform has to evolve with your business, or in some cases, help drive your business and give you other options.
Okay, brilliant. And in more recent days, you've been with the Infigo team. How have you seen the partnership of the two businesses, when integrated, benefit the customer?
Yeah, I think the first thing to say is we're a group of friends, so we get in the trenches together. The common goal is to make sure our customer is successful with both platforms. But when the integration is involved, I think you'll see today that we've got our customer at the top of the pyramid, if you will, and that's our sole goal and desire, to make sure that things are automated, integrated, but then the knock-on effects are we're simplifying that process, reducing touch points, helping businesses to be profitable. So that's a common goal. If you broke us both apart but then asked us that same question, I think that'd be the thing that we both answer, is that we're very aligned in our focus to be different, be innovative, and as I said, try and make things simpler for the customer who faces that challenge of, growing demands on staff, can't find staff. So it's a very complex system. What do we do? Make things simpler, and leave that knowledge in your system in the business. And that's our I say joint vision, really.
Excellent. And looking at both of those experiences wrapped into one, what are you seeing, or what are you hearing as the requirement that the customer wants now from their workflow when talking, with both hats on, both MIS and web to print?
I think the main answer people want to hear is yes. Yes, we can do it. Yes, it can be done. Yes, you can integrate. Because companies are going off in different directions now, and it's there's never 2 days the same at Infigo. So we'll do 2 or 3, 4 demos a day. On every demo, you never find the same questions, which is really refreshing, and it also, some people would say, challenging. But at the same time, I think the thing is, a company wants to know that if they are investing in anything nowadays, that it isn't just a this year investment. So we can do things in the future. Yes, we'll look at that. Yes, we will help you. And yes, we will change what we do to help your journey to become easier. So, for example, we'll invent things like we teach and we build. So giving customers the option that if you've got the skills in-house, then fine, there you go. We've got a fantastic academy. Learn with our academy, do it yourself, you've got the skills.
Yeah.
If you don't have those skills, we've got a we build option where we can support you on your journey. So I know it sounds an open answer to that, but we do like to say yes to customers, but at the same time we're sometimes cautious. But yeah, I think that's a key thing, to say that yes, we can help, yes, we can assist, yes, we can do it, or yes, our solution will meet your needs.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. Just going to bring Rob in now from printIQ. Good morning, Rob. Welcome.
Morning, Chris. Thank you. Morning, everyone.
Give us a little bit of an intro into yourself, printIQ, and what you're looking forward to today from the demonstration.
Yeah, of course I can. I mean, I've been in the print industry now for 35 plus years. I think it is around that sort of figure. So plenty of experience from that point of view. Really enjoying, obviously, the integration we've got with Infigo and how that's coming on, and the boys will obviously show that a bit later on. I think some of the most exciting parts with printIQ, speaking from that part at the moment, are the new markets we're going into. We're seeing a lot of activity in the packaging and label market, and the signage market. So we're developing our product all the time to, you know, bring these markets into IQ. And some of the other side of things with IQ at the moment, which is again is very exciting for us, is working with the costings so we can bring more customers on board. So it's very much more modular based now. So you can start small and grow, and more people can get involved, which is great for us.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Thanks, Rob. So I'm just going to bring a poll onto the screen now, and we'll ask you all to participate in the poll. How many of you currently have an MIS solution? So I'd ask anybody who is a member of Infigo or printIQ not to take part in this poll. Some results coming in, and at the moment option 1 is winning. We don't currently have one. Know who to speak to then. Okay, so at the moment we have 38% of you do, but haven't integrated with web to print. 36% of you don't currently have an MIS, and 21% do, and it's fully integrated with web to print. So I would hope that they are our joint customers. Okay, moving on swiftly. So part of what today's about is automated workflow, making a solution or helping towards a wider solution for the print shop and the print shop owner. As you can see from the diagram on the screen, both Infigo and printIQ work with many other partners to help make an automated workflow and ultimately improve ROI and increase additional revenue streams. We can work with companies such as ESCO, Hybrid, ABG, and HP. And the panacea that we're all looking to achieve is an end-to-end lights-out automation. So if there's anything that we don't cover today with regards to the workflow or the automated workflow, please send us a question and we'll try and get back to you as soon as we can with any additional information. This is a lovely segue into the technical demonstration by Alex and Paul. Gentlemen, I'm going to hand over to you. You'd like to introduce yourselves?
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I'm Alex. Lovely introduction from Chris earlier, but I am the Technical Operations Director here at Infigo. Been at Infigo for 10 years now, and seen us as a business and our product grow quite rapidly. And as Paul touched on quite a few times, we're really keen on innovation and putting our customer at the forefront. So I've been heavily involved in the printIQ integration, and working really closely with the guys at printIQ to build what we have so far. But this is a fairly mature integration, but it is not by far anywhere near where we want it to go. So we've got exciting plans for the future. But yeah, looking to do a live demo, which is always fun. So yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Paul from printIQ. So I'm the technical integration specialist for the UK and Europe. And I've been working closely with Alex probably for the last 2.5 years since joining printIQ to build and develop the integration between the two companies and just look at what the customer's needs are with regards to what they want to get out for that full lights out automation, and just generally communicating as partners to get to that end result. So really looking forward to going through the live demonstration with everyone.
Yeah, before we get on the demonstration, like one thing just to add is that's really refreshing about our partnership is that we're both committed to the same thing. So yeah. If a mutual customer has questions, issues, concerns, or whatever it might be, Paul is more than happy to jump on a call, sort it out, as we are. We have the approach that if you've got a support query and you're not sure where that lies because you're in a trio of partnership here, raise it with us, and then we can talk to printIQ can talk to us, and we'll make sure that it gets resolved as a partnership rather than two individual companies providing two separate solutions to what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
but
yep, let's carry on.
Yeah, so I will share my screen. If you let me know when you can see that.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so our key focus with this integration is twofold. The first is to really improve the speed to market for our mutual customers, and that's with a blend of our native Infigo tools that we've got to quickly build a branded storefront, and then supplemented additionally alongside the functionality that the Connect printIQ plugin provides. And that's from the storefront builder form that we've got to creating something like you see in front of you here, to having products, pricing, and orders available and flowing, relatively quickly. And then secondly, to improving efficiency through automation. So that's removing manual touch points, having data seamlessly flowing between multiple systems, and then having that single source of truth, which in this scenario is of course printIQ, where they have all of the information available. Our Connect printIQ plugin is our most in-depth plugin ever. We've spent many years. So I've been working with Paul on this for 2.5, and his predecessor before him for a couple of years. So this is something that I say is fairly mature, but we've invested a lot of time and resource into what it is today. And some of the highlights that we're going to cover today, but that includes our syncing stock and print-on-demand products directly from printIQ into Infigo, fetching live inventory stock levels from printIQ, creating quotes and returning real-time pricing to the customer, pushing orders into printIQ, and getting status updates back. And like I say, we're going to demonstrate a couple of those to you today. Before I focus on the plugin, and I'll only just touch on it in this webinar because we've got much more material. So if you want more information on this, we can send it to you. But we've spent a lot of time in addition to this over the last 12 to 18 months on providing our customers with tools to build a storefront like this, for example. Fairly simple, you might say, but it looks slick, it looks clean, and it's branded. We've moved to providing them with tools to do this themselves. And so it's about allowing you to have content administrators instead of web developers that will maintain your Infigo storefront. So we've really focused on providing those tools to our customers so that portion of getting your branded storefronts up and running quickly is something that you can do. Now onto the plugin. So you've created a branded storefront like this. And I'll just jump into the admin side of things quickly. And we've currently just got a few dummy products in our storefront at the moment. These are just there to make the storefront look pretty. But what I will show you in a moment is how we can start to create products or have products created from printIQ directly into Infigo via the plugin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into printIQ. I'm going to navigate to, first of all, a sales item or stock product. Just going to search for my Infigo beer label. And now I'm just going to edit it. So I'm editing an existing product, but it works in exactly the same way as if you were to create a product now. I'm going to update that. In the background then, as Paul might tell you a bit more, that's going to trigger a trigger into Infigo to let it know that a product has been edited. And if it doesn't exist, create it. If it does exist, just update it. And then I'm going to do the same just to demonstrate what it would be like for a static print-on-demand product. So I'm just going to take this promo static sign here. So this has a print-ready artwork file attached to it. I'm going to just amend the stock maybe. It's not actually going to be produced on 320, now 300. I'm going to update that. So if I now jump back into my Infigo admin, what should happen is that this will jump from 5 products to 6. And you'll see the first product jump in, which is the stock product. As part of the sync, we also support syncing categories. So if you had a category structure in printIQ you wanted to replicate in your Infigo storefront, we can also do that. So it will pull in the category names, category images, and position those products within those categories. Or you can choose to ignore the categories, have all the products moved into a bucket category in Infigo, and then you can create your own potentially more complex tree structure of categories in Infigo, and then move those products to where you want them. So here we have our first product pulling in now, which is the Infigo beer label. So you'll see this has come in as a stock product. If I just jump in and click edit on here, you'll see it's pulled in the description, the name. We've got the product thumbnail. If I go into the variant here and scroll down, we've asked it to track the inventory where we want to display it, and it allows back orders, something again that can be configurable from the printIQ. You can also specify the min and max basket quantities that you want people to order. That comes from printIQ, but you'll notice that the stock count is just our default 10,000. We don't pull the stock and save it against the product in Infigo. We actually request the inventory level live when we need it, and I'll show you that in a moment. And in addition, if you were to have fixed quantities of tiers that you want to offer to the customer in order to restrict the quantities they can order in, we will also pull those in here. If I jump back, we should have our second product there as well now. So here we've got our promo static sign, and this has been created as a static print-on-demand PDF product. And if I go into the PDF here, you'll see that the print artwork file is already here as well. So that exists, that has been created from printIQ too. So now if I just jump into the front end, so just gonna go back to my product list. So if I go to my beer label, I'll show that one, and then I'll just open up my promo sign as well. So here's my beer label. Now this is a inventory item, as I mentioned, or a sales item in printIQ. So this stock here, you remember it said 10,000 against the product, that gets ignored, and this stock level here gets pulled live from printIQ. So we know at this stage what the printIQ stock levels are, and we are confident that that is accurate at this point in time. Then I can amend my quantity, and what this is doing under the hood then is making a request to printIQ, creating a quote, and then returning the price for that quote back here. So £79, that is a live price delivered from printIQ. I can do the same against my static PDF product here, and maybe I'll order 15 for this. Again, doing the same thing, connecting to printIQ, creating a quote, and returning the live price for that quote back. So if I jump now back into printIQ and just go to my quotes, these two quotes should be sitting there for me. So here we've got my promo static sign and my beer label. And Paul, you might want to talk a little bit here about what's included in these.
Yeah, so within the quotations that are generated, obviously what we wanted for the customer ordering on the front side is a nice simple view. Behind the scenes within printIQ, the customer is able to create all of the sort of guts behind the product, so all of the processes that are needed, any pricing structure. So what we've tried to do is, rather than doing a build it in both platform scenario, we wanted to bring printIQ back forward to be the hub of that data. So from the front view, what we're seeing on the static post is a nice simple description of the product that the customer's ordering. And Alex, if you can flick back just to the left of the static product quote quickly for me. Within this quotation, if Alex was to break into the product itself, what we would see is all of the different processes behind that are required. So from the actual point of view of being the supplier for the product that the customer's ordering, you'll see within this all of your cost price for what it's going to cost to manufacture the items, as well as what the final sale price is. So it gives you full disclosure of what's going on. You're not having to track prices in two systems. It's all kept in one central location.
That's right. So now I can add these to my basket. We have in Infigo, we've captured and stored those quote references from printIQ against these two jobs. So they will now travel with those orders into printIQ. So I can put some information here. This will also be passed into printIQ. So I say I would like this ASAP, as many customers may ask. And I would like this left with my receptionist. I don't know. Then we can check out. So again, kind of into the native Infigo checkout process now. I can add an address. We have various shipping integrations. Easy Post for one, where you can offer live rates and select multiple couriers and services throughout the world and offer those to your customers. So the customer would select these, and then under the hood, you can also map these to printIQ shipping methods so that there is a common mapping between the two systems. So if I'm selecting eco here, I know what that translates into, what production and dispatch then have to use downstream.
I think that's quite an important thing you touched on there, Alex, actually, with the integration, is the mappings that are there between the two systems. I know that certainly in my previous life discussing with customers, one of the biggest complaints was having to reference two systems all the time. And by having the mappings done as they are between the two platforms, whatever the customer is entering on the front side, all the production team, the estimating team, everyone on the back side within the MIS platform will see all that data.
And also it's translated into your language.
Yeah.
So you don't have to know what eco means, because that might mean nothing in the printIQ world or in the, so we can translate eco into whatever that means in the printIQ world.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You might not want, as a supplier, you might not want to show on the front side who you're using as your courier. You might switch it up day to day. So having that sort of translation works really well.
Nice.
Down to the payment section. In Figo, we have payment plugins. So Stripe, SagePay or now Pio, PayPal, WorldPay, lots of others, authorized.net across the pond, or PO. You can also upload a PDF purchase order as well at this point, and that a link to that file will also make its way into printIQ, and then we can confirm that order.
I think, again, just adding to what you've said there, Alex, with the Stripe integration and other payment options, one of the good things with the integration that we did here was whenever a customer's paying with, say, a credit card up front, that's pushed through to printIQ. So that data is all still kept in one place. The invoice in IQ is created, ready to be exported to the accounts package. So it's that's
right. So we have logic in Infigo that allows you to determine if they're paying on purchase order, it needs to be invoiced later out of printIQ, or if they're paying up front, then that's already handled, and we can pass that information, like you say, pull downstream. So I've placed an order as a customer. I can receive an order confirmation email that summarizes the order, and then what we're doing under the hood in Infigo is we're generating the output for the print on demand product, which is this one here, and we're also preparing the order to push it into printIQ. So this is our shared print operations page. This is where you can control and view jobs and orders that have been placed. Obviously via the printIQ plugin, you'll be seeing those into printIQ. But Paul, if I stop sharing now and you can jump into printIQ and see these landing at your end.
Absolutely. Just need to find my share button. So you should see my screen pop up now with the printIQ's order page.
Thank you, Paul.
There you go. Superb. So yeah, like Alex was showing previously within printIQ, a quotation was originally created within here to get the pricing for this particular product. And what will happen is once the customer has accepted the order within Infigo, essentially, like we see on this line here, the quotation that's there is automatically accepted. So what happens at that point is once it's been accepted, that's going to push through to printIQ with the relevant product or stock item or whatever the customer has ordered within their basket. So what happens within a printIQ world once this happens is anything that's a printed item will go through production like any other sort of printed job, and we split off the stock orders to allow the warehousing team or the fulfillment team, whether that's internal or external. We have done integrations from our side with external warehouses. So it could be that, for example, the printed item could be done in-house, the stock item could be going out to be picked and packed elsewhere. And essentially what we're doing at that point is just removing with the integration, the double entry, any downloading of artwork, purchase orders, anything like that, because what we're doing is copying all that data over. So we're removing that double entry out. So what we've now got is the order that Alex has placed. So the first line here is our printed item. So this will appear on the printIQ production boards for any sort of studio work, pre-press work that he's doing, and it will follow its way through the factory. So if I focus on the printed product first of all and pop it open, what we'll see within this printed product is the Infigo order reference has been moved over. The customer notes that Alex put on checkout, we've pulled these over as well. Within the product, any purchase order number that's there has been moved over. The same with any dispatch. So Alex selecting what he did on checkout in the printIQ was translated here to FedEx. So FedEx is the courier that was being used on our side. And we can also see any of the dispatch notes. So these are all passed through to any sort of dispatch paperwork we're doing. Flicking slightly back to the stock item, what we'd get within this space if we pop that stock item open, this is where the warehouse team or external team would work from printIQ. They're able to come in here and obviously look at the quantity that's required. We can produce the packing list. So if the order itself contains a lot of different stock items within it, essentially we can produce a packing list, or they can walk around, use on a tablet. Being cloud-based, it doesn't have the sort of tether that you would have with native systems that are local applications. It can be used from any web browser. So they could be walking around the factory using the barcode scanner to check the items out. They could be manually picking it. So from a status update point of view that Alex was touching on, what I'm going to do is sort of skip through the production part, of which means picking the item. So this is depleting the stock in printIQ's levels. So again, that will go on the stock count, that will go down. So the item is now ready to sort of dispatch. From the printing point of view, we'll assume in this space that the production team have worked really quick and they've gone through and completed the job, and that is now also finished production. So obviously in this space, this would be passed over to the dispatch team. Depending on the order, in the case of this order, they're both local to the same site. So when I come into printIQ to create the consignment, again, from our point of view with integrations, we have numerous freight integrations as well. So at this point here, you could be producing the labels directly from FedEx, DPD, UPS, as well as providers the same as Infigo as Easy Post. In this space, we're not doing that. So I'm going to be assuming that I'm dispatching the item from a different system, and I will just enter a consignment number within here, because this will show obviously the sync back to Infigo. So what I'm going to do is just tap create consignment there. And what will be happening in the background of this is obviously the job within printIQ's world is complete. We can choose to send a dispatch email from printIQ. And what we tend to do in the space of the Infigo integration, we actually let Infigo do the email for the customer. So when we send back the dispatch webhook to Infigo, they will see that, okay, these items have been dispatched, and at that point they'll trigger the customer.
On that point, Paul, we also did some work to support kind of partial shipments.
Yeah, exactly that. So that was, again, one of the things, because sort of touching back on what I was saying about working with external providers for warehousing or production, because printIQ works fully with outsourced providers as well. The job itself, if a customer orders 10 products, they could be split into multiple locations. So again, with the teams between printIQ and Infigo, we worked on that project. So as each item was being dispatched, whether that's internal or external, that information is going through the system, so the customer can see exactly what is on its way, what isn't, what they're waiting for. And that could also be down to not enough stock being in for an item. And that was, again, just to keep that going, Alex, is one thing we worked on collectively together as well, was the back orders. So we did some development from printIQ side and an Infigo side. So if a customer wants to allow back orders, they've got a requirement to order 100 units and there's only 50 in stock. We have the support there now, which means that the first 50 gets released internally or to the external warehouse where they can fulfill it. And then the other half of that order will sit on back order until the stock has actually been received in. So it means that obviously parts of orders are able to be fulfilled to keep customers going.
And also displaying that messaging to the customer prior to them ordering, so that they're aware that if they're ordering 100 and there's 50 on back order, the messaging on the page lets them know that, so that they are aware there might be a delay in receiving all 100 or whatever it might be.
Yeah, exactly that. It was just a way of expanding the system and keeping orders coming in, I guess, for our collective customers, was that ability to be able to have that back order in place and customers being fully aware of what's going on, so they're not phoning up asking where stock is. They're all the messages there from the offset.
Do you want to jump into admin, Paul, and just show that order being shipped? So if you just take the reference from printIQ, which is 6831, I think it was.
Yeah. This one just here.
Yeah. So that's our Infigo order number.
Yeah.
And then if you jump across to the static products tab, because it was a static print on demand product. Yeah. And then if you change it from open to order status to complete.
Yeah, we can
then you'll see 6831 with a product status of shipped. And then if you scroll down, there should be your consignment number.
Yeah, so you can see that my consignment number is put in. And that, again, we keep jumping through bits, but one thing that, because printIQ and Infigo both support freight integrations, one of the pieces we did here, Alex, was to also, if it was done via an integration, we pass back the URL. So the email the customer receives is not just a number, it does contain...
It's a link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so as Paul mentioned, then we can trigger then a branded email to the customer with all of the information about whether it was a partial shipment, a full shipment, tracking information, whether it's a link to click on, just so that the customer is then kept in the loop. They're moving there forwards. So the last bit, if we've got time, Chris, just wanted to, so what we've shown you today so far is based on you having a product in printIQ, or a SKU in printIQ already. So it's brilliant, because it allows products to be created automatically in Infigo, but it does require a level of upfront creation of products, let's say. What we've been working on recently, and it's not quite live yet, is the ability to create custom quotes in Infigo, create custom quotes from Infigo into printIQ, where you don't have to have products that already exist. So if you're offering custom shapes, or if you're offering a plethora of products that you don't want to have to create up front, you can allow customers to do that. And I will share my screen again. But this is still in kind of beta. So bear with.
But we heard it here first, Alex.
Yes, it's very close to being launched. But so I've got a product in Infigo now, similar to what I showed you before. And now when I click on this connect link, which when you create your products via the automatic sync from printIQ, this is all pre-mapped for you. So you don't have to do any of that. The plugin does it for you. But We do have a means to manually map a print-on-demand product. So you would put in your product SKU here, whatever it might be. If it was a stock item, we've now introduced the ability to select from a list. So what the integration is doing here, it's polling printIQ for a list of all of your sales items in printIQ, and then it's populating a drop-down for you to select from. So here, just to make that process of, if you wanted to manually map these products slightly easier, so less chance of you typing in a SKU incorrectly. And then we've got this custom option here. And so what this does that's different is it allows you to build up your product mapping in Infigo to printIQ by using various components of that product. So here you can choose between whether you want it to be a single section or multi-section. You can decide what stock you want it to be produced on. You can determine your colors for the front and back, and all of this information is pulled from your live printIQ instance. So anything that you create as a color front option, color back option, stock option will make it into this list for you to then use for future products. Number of pages, size, fold, and then we've got a series of job and section operations that you can enable there.
Lovely.
And the way that you do this here is you kind of, against the base product in Infigo, you would build your base options, so your default stock, your default page count, your default color options, and everything like that. And then you would go to attributes in Infigo, and you would offer them choices that they can do in order to manipulate the specification of that job that they're requesting. And then in order to translate that question in Infigo into something meaningful in printIQ, here I've selected material, for example. So I have that mapping page again, but this time, instead of it being 100 GSM gloss artboard, I'm going to change it to something else. I'm going to change it to silk cover, whatever it might be. So now then, if the customer was to select a material option, it would override my default and change it to silk cover. So then it allows you to build up those questions, options, and mapping under the hood that then gets used when creating a custom quote in printIQ. But essentially, to the end user who is looking on the product landing page, making selections on the product landing page and getting a price back, there is no difference in experience for them, but it allows you to create more custom, more dynamic quotations in printIQ. Anything you want to add on that, Paul, from a printIQ perspective?
Yeah, I think it was a big request really for both sides, wasn't it, to have this functionality within here. A lot of integrations that are normally done from web to print, everything's product based, and that obviously means building the products behind it, because what I covered during sort of my small bit was in the front side of the web to print is kept simple for the customer. In the actual MIS production side, that's where it gets more complex, and this just brings to the market just an easier way of building variables of products out quickly and easily, because as we all know, that there's not a one size fits all for a lot of products. There's a lot of variables that are there, and it takes a lot of effort to get all of those variations together for a customer. Essentially, what we're able to do here now is put all the variations into the box for the customer on the front side of Infigo, and then printIQ will handle all of the estimating side real time. So if any part of this quotation changes in price, we can have that real time price in there.
And because you can control what attributes and attribute values you present to the customer, you can control the options that they select. So you're not opening up to them to create all these weird and wonderful jobs and products that you maybe can't produce. You can still have control over that, but it's up to you. It's far more flexible.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer customer experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks, gentlemen. That's really informative, especially that last part, chaps. I'm very excited to share that. I wasn't expecting that today. I guess we may need a follow-up when that's ready and it's in the next phases, so we can share that with everybody. We have a couple of questions from Leon Wilson. Alex, Paul, if you wouldn't mind looking at those, and then we'll answer those in the Q&A at the end. But thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so we're going to have a poll, give Alex and Paul a bit of a rest. So, how many of you currently utilize a web to print platform? How many of you are currently using web to print? So we'll just do this poll, and then we're going to line up Georgie from Cubiquity Media, one of our lovely customers. Let's see what we've got. So 32% of you so far don't use web to print. 36% of you do have web to print, but it's not integrated. So you definitely need to have a conversation with Paul Bromley. Okay. So taking the floor now is Georgina from Cubiquity. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you for joining us. I have a few questions, if I may.
Sure.
Tell us a bit about Cubiquity as a company, what you do, and what the average sort of day looks like.
Cubiquity is a print media agency, so we are a middleman. We do procurement, so we don't actually own any equipment. We don't manufacture anything, but we have a huge range of suppliers that we work with closely to deliver the products that our customers require. Some of those requirements may come from ad hoc, and they speak to our account management team, and we quote those on an ad hoc basis, but a lot of our business runs through Infigo, where we set up the catalogs and let customers go in and order their products, and it's sort of one of those lights out automation where once we build it, we don't forget about it, but a lot of it will just sort of run itself, and we just keep an eye on things and monitor it and update it as when customers have new products and new things they need to add on.
Okay, brilliant. And what does the average day look like for you in your role?
Well, we're still going through the migration process, so every day is a little bit of a challenge, and we have lots of things coming around. So we have a lot of live customers that require attention, and they want to change the way that we're using the system, and they want to develop it and add new products on. But we're also still getting off our old system and working to sort of take what we have on our current systems and migrate it and translate that information into a new platform, but also upgrade it at the same time. We have a lot more opportunity to make things a little bit more seamless than what our previous system offered. So we're trying to find ways to make it easier for the customer and also our account management team. The more that we can free them up from the admin roles and sort of clicking buttons, so to speak, is kind of better for everyone. They can concentrate on the bigger jobs and add a little bit more value to, the communications with the customer rather than ticking buttons to say a job's been dispatched, for instance.
Excellent.
Georgie, just a quick one from me. Sorry, how many customers have you migrated so far? Just to give them some perspective on.
On to printIQ, it's been a couple hundred. I think 200 or 300 customers we've got on to printIQ, and there's about, I think there's 110 or so that we need to move over onto Infigo, and I think we have all but maybe 20 or 30 of those, not even, probably 20. So we've moved over 70 or 80 customers onto platforms, and that can be anything from a single business card that is a template up to we have one customer that we're still building for, that we have thousands of products, both from a digital download, templating, stock items, print on demand, just a real varied sort of using and stretching every part of the system to its full capacity.
Great question, Alex. Thank you, Georgie. How long ago did you start using the IQ and Infigo platforms, and what order? And
we started the vetting process about, almost 3 years ago now. We were vetting and we were having the conversations with Paul Bromley when he was at printIQ. And we eventually sort of signed on the dotted line about 10 months later, once we sort of scoured the market and made sure we made the right decisions in terms of moving platforms and making sure that there was a communication between the two. And I think that's why we chose printIQ and Infigo, because there was an established relationship there.
Okay.
And we wanted to build on the back of that and help our system. So we were talking about product sync and stuff like that. That was important for us to make sure that, again, the admin time was reduced. We didn't want to duplicate work on either side.
Excellent. And what sort of challenges did you find, and how did you guys as a business overcome them?
I don't think we understood the full impact. We did understand the impact, but we didn't understand how long it was going to take and all the little niggles that would come out. Anytime you vet software, you're never going to know everything. You're not going to know to ask all the little right questions. And I think coming out of it, we never assume anything anymore. We always get everything absolutely on paper, and we took for granted that some stuff would be just there, and it wasn't necessarily. But we've found workarounds. We've made it work for us. And honestly, it's just time. Migrating the systems has taken a lot of time, because while we have existing customers to migrate. We've also won a lot of business off the back of having these two platforms and having more automation and being able to offer more than what our previous system allowed for. So we're sort of juggling the two of, you know, taking our existing customers and giving them a better platform, but also catering to our new business customers who have come in because we can offer the software.
Excellent.
So I think that's been a challenge over time.
I was going to ask you next, what are the benefits of having the two platforms integrated? You already mentioned the connectivity and the partnership. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
There's obviously the connectivity, but I think that each system does what they do really well. Whereas we were using one system before that did everything fine, but now we have two systems that can be really stretched and pushed to where we need it to go. From an Infigo point of view, we can offer a lot more automation when it comes to even customers entering the system with single sign-on, or on the other side, checking out with an order and it punching out into their SAP system, and that whole part can potentially be automated. And when it comes into the printIQ and from, you know, our internal account manager's point of view, they have the potential to have a job go straight to our suppliers without it being touched. The suppliers return tracking information, which then send tracking emails to our customers. So in theory, if we tick the right buttons, we can have a job be produced without any human interaction whatsoever.
Okay, brilliant. And my final question, what would you say to anybody that's looking at either solution or potentially has one solution but maybe looking at the other?
I think you have to know what your customers want and if you can sell it in. You know, I think we already had an online platform that we offered up to our customers, but there was a strong desire from many of our customers, both from a pitch point of view and existing ones, that they wanted it to go further. You know, they wanted it to evolve with what they see on other e-commerce websites. If you shop on Etsy or Shopify or anything like that, they expect the same from our suppliers, and our old system didn't necessarily offer that. It wasn't being pushed, and I think Infigo allows for not only more rules and sort of applications to work correctly, but it also allows for a customer to just have an easy interface. You know, it's not very complicated to go and find an item. You can start tagging stuff to make it even easier for them to find what they need to. And from that point of view, you know, we wanted it to be easy. You know, I've always joked that I've been the laziest person in the business because I just want to find a way to make things work better without having to put a lot of thought into it. Necessarily more work up front, less on the back end. And I think we've done that for our customers, where we can just make it easy for them to work. But again, selfishly for our account managers, we have to keep them happy too. Otherwise, we get grunts from them, and we want to make sure it's easy. And I found that the back end of Infigo was really easy for us to use, and that was, from my point of view, one of the biggest winners for me when we were sort of choosing and vetting Infigo was the back end user interface and making sure that things were easy to find, the buttons were clear, and the UI was just tidy, and it is.
Excellent. So lazy equals success for you then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, Georgie. If you could stay with us for the Q&A, we're going to run next, and then if anyone's got any questions for you, they can ask you directly.
Absolutely.
Okay, one last poll, and then we're going to jump into the Q&A. How many of you are working with a fully automated workflow? Let's give it a few seconds. Okay, so I'm going to wrap these results up. We have 44% have a workflow that is somewhat automated. We had 38% have a workflow that is not automated. And we have 6% with a fully automated workflow. So I'd suggest speaking to some of the technical gurus on today's session to get some advice on how you can further improve your automation of your workflow. Okay, so we're going to jump into the Q&A now. I'm going to open up the floor to some questions. And the first question we have, let me just close this.
Let me just answer Leon's quickly, Chris, if that's
all
right.
Go for it, Alex. Thank you.
You're very, very patient, Leon. What if this is a new customer? So this is obviously referring back to the demo that we did. Leon, you said that you can see within the demo that you're currently logged in as someone rather than as it's showing my account rather than log in. Yeah, so the way that it's configured is that against the storefront, you will map a default customer code. So if there is no granular mapping to your customers, everyone will adopt that same customer code, whether they are not logged in yet and you're offering a trade or B2C site, or whether they are logged in but they don't have a mapping specifically against their customer. And then in Infigo, you can do a mapping either at a customer level, so granular to customer, and you can have the printIQ customer code mapped against that particular customer, or in Infigo, you can do it at department level. So if you wanted to group lots of customers into a department and have them act on behalf of a customer, they would adopt that. Or you can have a storefront created for a specific customer and have everybody just using that storefront acting on behalf of that customer. So it is up to you how you want that to work. It can be as granular as you want, or you can generalize the storefront.
Alex, I think Leon then goes on to ask, will you be showing editable templates?
Are we referring back to kind of our sales content templates? If so, not on this session, but we have plenty of material in our academy. So we actually did a tech workshop for our customers last week or the week before, which was on content templates. And then prior to that, at the end of last year, our academy manager did a session on content templates again then. So we can send you, Leon, some content on that, no problem.
I'm going to stick with that questions channel, chaps, because we've got one from Gary that's come in. When using both a payment gateway and a PO checkout process together, is it possible to send orders that select PO through to authorization process, but if payment gateway is selected, no authorization is needed?
I think that's a question for you, Paul, maybe, because like we let you know whether it's been paid up front via a payment gateway or whether it's requiring invoice later, right? And so
yeah, I think on the printIQ side, obviously, if the payment gateway is used, we get the payment info passed over, and if it's a PO, it comes over ready to invoice. I'm not sure whether Gary's question is more aimed at if an order be partially paid up front and then put on PO. So I know that that you can have authorization of the product depending on the person ordering. That might be where the question's going.
Oh, I see what you mean. Whether you should allow PO for a certain... Yeah, go on, Georgie.
Take that one from a customer point of view. So
yeah, let's do it.
I think everybody's asking. So basically what you're saying is that a customer gets the choice of putting in a purchase order or a credit card, or it's one or the other. It's completely up to you, but you can configure when it's credit card, that order can just go directly into printIQ to be produced however you need it to have produced. If you want to stop that order to view and make sure the purchase order matches and the values are correct and whatever else, then you can stop the order and have it sit within Infigo, and you can sit and mark it as paid, and then it goes into printIQ for production. Nice. Or you can have it order. We have orders that go into printIQ, and we do the checking within the printIQ environment rather than the Infigo environment. So we act as if printIQ is our master in almost every instance, and we stop things there. And if there's something that needs to be checked, then we put it on hold in printIQ rather than in Infigo and view things from there. But yes, you can put orders on hold. And others.
Thank you, Georgie. James Walker's got a question as well, guys, and then we'll move on to some more. Does printIQ integrate with external production partners, i.e. the print management model? Ideally, it would provide real-time quotes and track back to Infigo if the supplier supports it. Gentlemen.
I could probably let Georgie take this one, but I'll do some work and answer the question. So, yeah, because of the suite of APIs available in printIQ, it is possible to integrate with external partners. Cubiquity, actually, as a customer of printIQ, does do this currently with existing IQ customers, but there has been different requests in the past about integrating to other external. So yeah, it's totally possible to integrate with external partners to obviously order products and get pricing back and stuff like that. From a custom quoting perspective, that you can outsource products through printIQ and put quotes out to tender. That would be more manual in regards to sending out all the automation, all of the quotes out to different providers. and that wouldn't necessarily come back into Infigo. But if you're working with dedicated partners, then it is possible to get all of the pricing in printIQ. So once a product is ordered from Infigo, that the price you're buying it for from your supplier, or even if it's multiple suppliers, is already there. So if you want more of an in-depth look at that, by all means, please reach out. We'll look for the requirements.
Excellent. Thank you for answering that one, Paul. James, thank you for the question. I'm going to reel off some of the other questions we've had come in as well. There are a lot of integrations like this. Why is this any better than what's currently out there? So that's an open to all of you, I guess. Anyone want to take that one? Why is this better than other integrations?
I can probably help. Oh, sorry. Go on, Alex. You go.
No, who wants to go first?
GPT.
I'll go first. So I think one of the biggest complaints that, not necessarily going into what the integrations bring to the table, but just the two businesses as a whole, one of the biggest complaints I've always heard from different customers is that they're buying products from more than one party that's working together to do an integration. And what they want is that, like we said at the beginning, that partnership. They want, if Georgie has a problem, she will speak to either me or Alex or the support team, and we communicate between ourselves. We try to avoid using customers as middlemen at any point possible. We communicate as two businesses together to get the customer's desired end result. So I think that's probably one of the biggest selling points I can think of, is that partnership and the communication between not only both the companies themselves, but also to our customers.
Excellent. Rob, did you want to add to that? Or
Yeah, I think obviously Paul's explained that very well. But one of the things that Georgie did pick up on earlier and actually mentioned is how Cubiquity have grown their business around the partnerships realistically of printIQ and Infigo, and how that's helped them grow as a business. So, us two partners realistically working very closely together has helped Cubiquity as well to grow. So I think that's really important to mention.
Brilliant.
I'll pitch in as well. Well, like Paul Bromley mentioned it early on, that we're similar businesses. And that was one of the things when we were exploring a key partner to work with over the next 10 years, 5 years ago, is that we're very similar businesses in that we're innovative. And so, what both our products look like 3 years ago is completely different to what they look like now, and is completely different to what they'll look like in 3 years. So if you do sign up to us as a customer with Infigo, with printIQ, you know that the product will grow with you, or as Paul mentioned, help you grow, because we don't stand still, and this integration will increase in its functionality, performance, efficiency, everything like that, because both businesses is what we're trying to achieve. So
excellent. Thank you, Alex. What would be your single biggest piece of advice to someone embarking upon this journey? Now, that's a very interesting question.
Georgie?
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I think for us, our biggest lesson learned was not to assume anything. I mentioned it before when I was talking, but I think we assumed that because we had the capabilities in our previous system, that it would be replicated, and it's just common sense, perhaps, to have it in in our new systems. And that's not the case. It was always there, but maybe didn't work the way that we were used to working. I mean, we are a procurement company who's come in to use production software, so we've had to adapt a lot. That's probably my biggest takeaway when it comes to what do you keep in mind when you're taking on and tackling a project, is that we pushed for a lot of development between the two sites. We spent a lot of money and time on both sides pushing it further to make sure that it worked better for us. And again, it was not assuming that everybody interprets something the same way that we do. So put it down on paper, watch every single word. We had one word in a scope, take something out of context, and made it so that it was just working ever so slightly differently than we expected. And it was our own fault. We looked at the word and we disregarded it. And it was one of those things that, definitely read things twice before you send it over, and make sure that you understand it all and that everything's on the same page.
Okay. And what I'll say is, if you really want it to work in a particular way, demand to see it, because if you can see it, it does it. If you don't see it, assume it doesn't.
Of course, and I think we walked in not necessarily expecting, but assuming. And we had other stuff on our plate. We had our other jobs in addition to this sort of integration happening, and perhaps kept moved our eye off the ball a little bit. But at the end of the day, we got the product that we wanted. The two systems speak to each other. They do what we needed it to do, and we are continuing to evolve it on both sides. Because our customers ask for more stuff. We want stuff in our back end, and we're continuing to help evolve the two products for our own benefit as much as everybody else.
Yeah, I think one thing from me, Chris, just the final thing is, as you can see from Rob's hair and mine, we're going grey now. So we've been in the industry a long time, as Alex likes to wind me up. But we are here as consultants. So we've seen situations, we've been in situations, we've learned a lot. So we offer that consultative approach. And if any business wants to engage with us and learn about other scenarios or instances that they're ready to embark on, we're here to help. So that's
Brilliant.
the main thing.
Thanks, Paul. Just before I move into the final two questions, because we're slightly overrunning, Gary, thank you for your question regarding timescales of the quoting functionality. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll announce it. We'll have another session and we'll be able to share that with you. But thank you for asking. Are there any real return on investment benefits of integrating, or is it purely automation? Oh, that's a good one. That sounds like a print shop owner, doesn't it? Real benefits of integrating. What's the ROI? Who wants to answer that one?
There's a few things straight away. So reducing touch points, not double entry. So the first thing that I always get positioned to me is, do we have to take it from one system and then push it into another? Are we double entering? And a lot of solutions out there are just a single push. So it's bi-directional. They are smart integrations that we're now developing. So you will see time saved already. Georgie mentioned it before. You've not got account managers now tapping orders in or checking things. They're doing the value add things, which is talking to customers about other projects, other products. So there is time around that. There's value around that. And there's also a big one as well, which is once a system is in place in a business, it stays in place. And that becomes the process that your new team members will embark on when they go through the business. So you're making things really easy and really attractive as well for new employees to join the business, because they're not working with really clunky, awkward, oh, this bit doesn't work, you have to do this.
Yeah.
They are proven solutions now. So if someone joins the business with no print knowledge or little print knowledge, you don't need to be scared anymore, because a lot of the solutions that we're working with, these two to name them, we are both cloud-based. People are used to going on the internet, using drop-downs, pull-downs, looking at next pages. So it's very familiar now to anyone who wants to enter the business, and you just need to learn your process. And that process is your system. So there is huge time and revenue cost to be saved from that, in my opinion.
Excellent.
An opportunity for growth, as Georgie mentioned. It's improving your status quo or creating a new status quo for your business. Also, then generating new business, which potentially you might not get if you didn't have the capacity to do it, or you haven't got the systems that will attract new business.
Just if I can quickly add to that, I think one of the other things there with the automation and working more seamlessly from start to finish, you can actually there's not so much touch points within your business, so you can actually move some of your staff to other parts of the business if there is bottlenecks, so to speak, especially in the finishing side and that side where it's a little bit more hands-on. So you can move some of these staff around the business to make it more slicker for you as a business. So there's a huge return on investment there as well.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm going to have to wrap it up there because we've really overrun by some considerable amount of time. We've still got another 10 questions. So I'd say thank you for everyone that sent the questions in. I'll move these on to the second session today, which will be 4 o'clock. Thank you ever so much, Georgie, for joining us. Thank you, gentlemen, as well. Thank you for everyone who's contributed to today's session. We hope you found it informative. If there's anything you'd like to know, would like to follow up on, please reach out and we'll hook you up with the right person. Thanks again, and see you next time. Bye for now.